Alright, today's the first of a three-part series where I'm going to dive a little deeper into the operation of each of the levers in my book, Three Levers, The Essential Guide to Increasing Profits. Today we're going to run through the sales lever, and to illustrate that I'm going to use a fictitious character called Billy Laker, the world's best baker. Now Billy makes a cracking chicken and leek pie that he sells for $3 each. It's a recipe that's been handed down through his family through the generations. It's very popular. There's people travelling from all over the other side of town to come across and try Billy's pies. He's a little bit of a social media phenomenon. He's on Snapchat and Facebook and Instagram. He's hashtagging things, and people come in, they have their pie, and they grab Billy after they've finished their pie, and they're like, "Got a photo, Billy?" And he comes over and he's like, "Ah!" And they hashtag each other and all their friends and stuff like that. And every lunchtime, there's people lined up out the door, and they snake all the way up the street. But unfortunately, there's about 20 or 30 of them every day that miss out. And you imagine the disappointment. You get to the front of the queue, and it's like, "Chicken leek pie, please." And the girl at the counter's like, "Sorry, all out. You're going to have to go next door and get some sushi." So on the surface of things, you would think that Billy's doing very well. But Billy rings me and he says, "I'm really struggling. I'm working 100 hours a week. I know I've got a good product, but I'm just not making any money. What can I do?" Well, I say, "Well, Billy, what you can do, mate, is you can use the three levers method and dissect the performance of your business using a strategic lens that three levers gives you." So we'll start by looking at the sales lever. And there's really only a couple of things that you've got to look at here. One of them, you either got to sell your stuff for more, or you've got to sell more stuff, or a combination of both of them. And when you start playing around with those sort of combinations, what we're going to do is make up these scenarios. We're going to build them up by using assumptions. And as we do that, we'll get a bit of an idea about which is the best way to go. So let's call what's going on at the moment, we'll call that scenario 1. That's the current state of the business. We know that it's not great. Now, scenario 2, what we're going to look at here is, what happens if we put the price up from $3 to $3.50? And we might make an assumption that 10% of the demand drops off. But we know that there's a bunch of those people aren't getting a pie anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And that scenario is going to play out that Billy sells basically nearly all his pies, apart from a handful, at a higher price, and obviously makes more money. It goes straight to his bottom line. But it doesn't really make sense to be turning customers away. So what happens if Billy makes more pies to satisfy those customers? Because he's got to make them in batches, he's going to take on all the extra ingredients and a bit of extra labour and stuff like that. Because he's not selling them all, and he's going to have to give them away to the charity people or something, Billy's actually going to be worse off in scenario 3 if he makes all those pies and can't sell them than he would have been in scenario 1 or 2. So Billy says, "What about if I drop the price? I might sell them all then." So we'll run that scenario. Call that scenario 4. Sell all those pies, and we'll drop the price to $2.70. But he's only making the same amount of money as he would have in scenario 2, where he made less pies at selling them at a higher price. So what's the point? You take on all that extra effort and risk, and you're not making any more money. You may as well just do scenario 2 and go home, put your feet up, and enjoy a bit of free time. You're working 100 hours, bring that back a bit. But Billy's a doer. He wants to keep selling, and he wants his business to grow. So he says, "What about if we make all those pies? Is there any way that we can sell them all at $3? So, okay, well, it makes sense. We've got people lining up to buy them at $3. Price is probably right. The product's great. So we need to look at the place and the promotion. So as far as the place goes, we might look at running around in a van in the morning and dropping off boxes at half a dozen cafes in the area, and that might increase the reach a little bit. As far as promotion goes, maybe we need to do a little bit of paid advertising, in newspaper, radio, or TV or something, to increase the reach and get that demand happening. So invest a little bit in marketing, but sell all those pies at $3, and that's actually better than scenario 2. So that's worth doing. So far, We've got 5 scenarios, and the 5th scenario is actually the best one so far. But earlier on we said we're only going to lose 10% of the customers if we jack the price up 50 cents. So why don't we try and target those sort of people in the marketing and try and sell all of those pies at $3.50? Plus we've taken on a bit of marketing cost. But if we do that, that's the best result of the lot. And Billy's business all of a sudden is looking pretty good. And that's what business is all about. It's about knowing what the options are and then using that to craft scenarios and making assumptions and working out what's the best to do, working out what's working, what's not, and continually refining. So if you're a business owner and you want to know more about what you can do, it's all here in this book, 3 Levers. Over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be doing other presentations on the direct costs and the overheads. I hope you can stay tuned. Thank you.